They were painted reddish-orange, built tough enough to survive the most brutal forests on Earth, and beloved by loggers from Canada to Scandinavia. Timberjack machines didn't just cut trees, they built an entire industry. One of them even walked on 6 legs like something out of a science fiction movie. But when John Deere wrote a check for $570 million, the Timberjack name began its slow fade into history. These are the 10 most beloved Timberjack machines ever built. Number 10, the Timberjack 225 Cable Skidder. Let's start with a machine that takes us right back to the roots of what Timberjack was all about. The Timberjack 225 Cable Skidder was one of the earliest and most recognizable machines to carry the Timberjack name, and for a lot of old-school loggers, this is the machine that started it all for them. Now, to understand why this machine mattered, you need to understand the company behind it. Timberjack was founded in Woodstock, Ontario, Canada, back in the 1950s by 2 men named Wes McGill and Robert Simmons. Their idea was simple but revolutionary at the time: build an articulated 4-wheel drive tractor with a winch mounted on the back, specifically designed for pulling logs out of the forest. They built a prototype, loggers loved it, and production took off from there. The 225 was powered by a Detroit diesel 353 engine, a 2-stroke powerhouse that was known across the logging industry for being incredibly reliable, even if it was a little noisy and smoky by today's standards. This was a cable skidder, which means it used a heavy-duty winch and steel cable to drag logs from where they were felled out to a landing area where they could be loaded onto trucks. What made the 225 special was its simplicity. There weren't a lot of electronics or complicated systems to go wrong. It was a straightforward mechanical machine that a logger could fix in the field with basic hand tools. That kind of ruggedness earned it a fiercely loyal following, especially among small independent logging operators who couldn't afford downtime. You can still find Timberjack 225 skidders working in the woods today, decades after they were first built. Loggers have rebuilt the engines, replaced the tires, rewound the winch cable, and kept these machines going for tens of thousands of hours. That kind of longevity tells you everything you need to know about the quality that went into this machine. Number 9, the Timberjack 240 series skidder. Coming in at number 9 is the Timberjack 240 series, and this one is a fan favorite for a very good reason. The 240 series went through several iterations: the 240A, 240B, 240C, 240D, and 240E, and each version improved on the one before it, while keeping the core DNA that loggers loved. The 240 series was a cable skidder, just like the 225, but it was a step up in terms of power and capability. Early versions used Cummins 4-cylinder diesel engines, typically producing around 100 horsepower. That might not sound like a lot compared to the massive machines we see today, but in the dense forests of the northeastern United States and eastern Canada, where these machines did most of their work, it was more than enough. One of the things that made the 240 series so popular was its compact size. This was not a massive machine. It was narrow enough to thread between standing trees without causing excessive damage to the residual forest, which made it ideal for selective logging and thinning operations. The articulated steering allowed it to make tight turns on narrow skid trails, and the hydraulic winch could drag logs up steep hillsides with ease. The 240C in particular became something of a legend. Loggers who ran 240C skidders will tell you that these machines just would not quit. There are accounts of 240C skidders running for well over 20,000 hours, with nothing more than routine maintenance and the occasional rebuild. The 240 series carried the original Timberjack reddish-orange color scheme that became iconic before the company changed to green, black, and yellow trim in 1992. For a lot of people, the 240 in that reddish-orange paint is the definitive Timberjack machine. Number 8. The Timberjack 380 Cable Skidder. The Timberjack 380 was a mid-size cable skidder that hit a sweet spot for logging contractors who needed more power than the 240 but didn't want to jump all the way up to a full-size machine. Powered by Cummins diesel engines, the 380 offered a solid balance of pulling power, maneuverability, and operating cost. What really set the 380 apart was its reputation for having an incredibly strong center section. In an articulated skidder, the center section is the pivot point between the front and rear frames. It takes enormous stress every time the machine turns, lifts a load, or works on uneven ground. A weak center section means expensive repairs and dangerous operating conditions. The Timberjack 380 had one of the sturdiest center sections in the business, and loggers knew it. The 380 was equipped with large forestry tires. typically 24.5 by 32 inches or 28L by 26 inches, which provided excellent flotation on soft ground and good traction on slopes. The cable winch system was robust and straightforward, using a drum winch that could handle heavy loads without overheating. For contractors working in the hardwood forests of Appalachia, the Great Lakes region, and the Canadian Maritimes, the Timberjack 380 was a workhorse that earned its keep every single day. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't cutting edge, but it was tough, dependable, and relatively affordable to maintain. And in the logging business, those three qualities matter more than anything else. The 380 also had a dedicated following among loggers who preferred cable machines over grapple skidders, since cable skidding allows the machine to stay on the trail while the choker setter brings the logs to it, reducing the amount of ground disturbance in the forest. Number 7, we've got the Timberjack 450C grapple skidder, and this is where things start to get interesting, because we're moving from cable skidders into grapple skidder territory. While a cable skidder relies on a choker setter, a person who has to go out, wrap cable around each log, and hook it to the winch line, a grapple skidder has a hydraulic claw mounted on the back that can grab an entire bundle of logs at once. The 450C was powered by a Cummins 6 BTA diesel engine, a 6-cylinder turbocharged power plant that was well regarded across the construction and forestry industries for its durability and serviceability. The machine had a Clark 3-speed transmission and Eaton differentials, all of which were proven components with wide parts availability. The steering on the 450C was done with a steering wheel rather than joystick controls, which was a preference for many operators who had spent years driving earlier Timberjack models. The enclosed cab offered heat and air conditioning, a significant comfort upgrade over the open cab machines of earlier decades. Working in the woods during a Maine winter or a Georgia summer is brutal enough without having to deal with the elements. The 450C was also available with a winch option, which meant operators could use it as both a grapple and cable skidder, giving them maximum flexibility on the job. That dual capability made it enormously popular with logging contractors who worked in varied terrain and conditions. The 450C was built during the era when Timberjack was still using the classic reddish-orange paint, and many loggers regard it as one of the finest all-around skidders the company ever produced. Number 6, the Timberjack 608 Feller Buncher. Now we're moving into a completely different category of machine. The Timberjack 608 wasn't a skidder at all. It was a tracked Feller Buncher, and it was one of the most popular machines in its class during the 1990s and early 2000s. A Feller Buncher is a machine specifically designed to cut down standing trees and gather them into bunches for a skidder to pick up and transport. The 608 sat on steel tracks with heavy-duty undercarriage components, which gave it excellent stability and traction on soft, muddy, or steep ground where wheeled machines would struggle. The 608 was powered by a Cummins 6 BT diesel engine, and it was available with several different types of cutting heads, including disc saws, hot saws, and shear heads. The disc saw configuration with its rapid rotating circular blade was particularly popular because it could cut through hardwood trees quickly and cleanly. Some versions of the 608 used felling heads with up to 22 inches of cutting capacity, which was sufficient for the vast majority of trees encountered in commercial logging operations. The cab on the 608 was enclosed and climate controlled, with heat and air conditioning. It featured a rotating design that allowed the operator to swing the cab to maintain visibility to the work area at all times. The hydraulic systems were powerful and responsive, giving operators precise control over the boom and felling head. The Timberjack 608 went through several variations: the 608, 608B, 608S, and 608FB, each incorporating improvements based on field experience and operator feedback. The 608S version, designed for processing as well as felling, became especially popular with contractors who wanted a multifunction machine. When John Deere acquired Timberjack, the 608 platform eventually evolved into John Deere's own line of tracked Feller Bunchers, which speaks volumes about the quality of the original design. Number 5, the Timberjack 560 Grapple Skidder. The Timberjack 560 was the company's mid-range grapple skidder, slotting right between the smaller 460 and the larger 660 in the lineup. For many logging contractors, it was the Goldilocks machine. Not too big, not too small, but just right. The 560 series went through several generations, including the 560, 560C, and 560D. Each version brought incremental improvements in engine power, hydraulic performance, and operator comfort. The later versions were powered by electronically controlled engines that delivered better fuel efficiency and more usable torque at lower engine speeds, which translated directly into lower operating costs for the contractor. What made the 560 so beloved was its combination of agility and power. It had the narrow turning radius and compact dimensions needed to work in tight stand conditions, but it also had the horsepower and hydraulic capacity to drag heavy loads of logs over long distances and up steep grades. The grapple was wide enough to grab a substantial bundle of logs in a single pass, which kept productivity high. The 560 also featured a robust 8-speed powershift transmission in its later versions, which gave operators smooth, seamless gear changes without losing momentum. On a skid trail, maintaining momentum is critical because stopping and starting with a heavy load dramatically increases fuel consumption and wear on the drivetrain. Loggers who ran 560 series machines often stayed loyal to the model for their entire careers. The machine had a well-earned reputation for racking up high hours with relatively low maintenance costs. And the resale market for used 560 skidders has remained strong for years, which is always a reliable indicator of how well regarded a machine is in the industry. The 560 shared its platform and many components with the 460 and 660, which meant that mechanics who were familiar with one model could easily work on any of the others. That parts commonality across the lineup was a smart engineering decision by Timberjack because it kept inventory costs down for dealers and repair costs down for contractors. In the logging business, where margins can be razor thin, every dollar saved on parts and maintenance goes straight to the bottom line. Number 4. The Timberjack 1110 Forwarder. At number 4, we shift from whole tree logging machines to the cut-to-length system with the Timberjack 1110 Forwarder. Unlike a skidder, which drags logs along the ground, a forwarder picks logs up and carries them clear of the forest floor in a built-in cargo bunk. This method causes significantly less damage to the soil and is the standard harvesting method throughout Scandinavia and much of Northern Europe. The Timberjack 1110 was a large, heavy-duty forwarder with a load capacity of approximately 12,000 kilograms. It was an 8-wheeled machine which distributed the weight evenly across the ground and minimized soil compaction. The engine produced around 120 kilowatts of power, providing plenty of muscle for hauling heavy loads over rough terrain. The 1110 was equipped with a hydraulic crane, known as a boom, that could reach out to pick up logs from either side of the machine and load them into the bunk. The boom had a maximum horizontal reach of over 10 meters, which meant the operator could collect logs from a wide swath without having to reposition the machine. This efficiency in loading was a major productivity advantage. The cab on the 1110 was designed for comfort during long shifts, which is essential in Scandinavian forestry, where operators may work 8 to 10-hour shifts in remote forests during dark winter months. It featured excellent visibility, intuitive joystick controls, a rotating and adjustable seat, and full climate control. The 1110 went through several iterations, including the 1110B, 1110C, and 1110D, with the D series being the final Timberjack branded version before the transition to John Deere Green. The 1110D carried a John Deere PowerTech engine and incorporated the Timbermatic management system, which gave operators detailed real-time information about machine performance, production volumes, and maintenance schedules. Number 3, the Timberjack 460 Skidder. Here it is, the machine that might be the single most iconic skidder in logging history. The Timberjack 460 was the backbone of the company's skidder lineup, and it earned a level of loyalty from loggers that very few pieces of heavy equipment have ever achieved. The 460 was available in multiple configurations: cable, single arch grapple, and dual arch grapple, which meant it could be set up to handle virtually any logging application. The machine was powered by a Cummins 5.9-liter 6-cylinder diesel engine, one of the most proven power plants in the history of heavy equipment. It had an operating weight of approximately 12,370 kilograms and rode on either 28 L26 or 30.5 by 32 forestry tires. The 460 went through several generations: the 460, 460C, 460D, and 460E, and each one was better than the last. The 460D, for example, offered an optional torque converter power shift transmission that gave operators incredibly smooth power delivery, even under the heaviest loads. The direct drive power shift gearbox combined with a narrow turning radius and push-button differential locking, made the 460D exceptionally capable on solid terrain, while the torque converter option kept the machine moving in difficult conditions where other skidders would bog down. What truly set the 460 apart was its combination of reliability and productivity. These machines routinely accumulated 15,000 to 20,000 hours or more in the field, and many are still working today with well over 20,000 hours on the clock. The parts availability for the 460 is excellent because so many were produced, and the design uses standard Cummins and Clark components that are widely stocked by equipment dealers and parts suppliers. The Timberjack 460 was so popular that when Blount Industries introduced the Prentice 490 skidder in the early 2000s, it was widely recognized in the industry as essentially being modeled after the 460. That's the highest form of flattery in the equipment business, your competitors copying your design. The used market for Timberjack 460 skidders remains active to this day, with well-maintained units commanding prices that reflect their enduring value and reputation. Number 2. The Timberjack 1270 Harvester. If the 460 was the king of skidders, then the 1270 was the king of harvesters. The Timberjack 1270 was a single-grip wheeled harvester that could fell a tree, delimit, measure it, and buck it into precise log lengths, all in a matter of seconds. It was a machine that combined raw power with computer-controlled precision, and it absolutely transformed the way forests were harvested. The 1270 was introduced in 1996 and quickly became one of the best-selling harvesters in the world. The original model had an operating weight of approximately 15,900 kilograms and was powered by an engine producing around 152 kilowatts. The hydraulic boom had a maximum horizontal reach of over 10 meters, giving the operator a wide working radius without needing to move the base machine. The machine went through several generations, the 1270, 1270B, 1270C, and 1270D, with each version adding more power, better technology, and improved ergonomics. The 1270D, the final Timberjack branded version, was equipped with a John Deere 6068 PowerTech Plus Tier 3 engine producing 215 gross horsepower, which gave it plenty of muscle for processing the largest commercially harvested trees. The 1270D also featured a rotating and leveling cab, which is one of the most important comfort and safety features on a modern harvester. When working on slopes, the cab automatically levels itself, so the operator always has a stable, comfortable working position. The cab can also rotate to follow the boom, keeping the work area directly in front of the operator at all times. This reduces fatigue and increases productivity, especially during long shifts. The boom on the 1270 series became legendary in the industry. Known as a parallel boom design, it delivered exceptional strength and reach while maintaining precise control. Combined with harvester heads from manufacturers like Waratah, which John Deere acquired alongside Timberjack in the year 2000 for a combined $570 million. The 1270 was capable of processing trees with incredible speed and accuracy. The Timbermatic 300 management system, introduced on the D-Series models, featured total machine control technology that optimized engine speed, hydraulic flow, and boom movements to maximize productivity while minimizing fuel consumption. This was advanced technology for its time and set the standard for how modern forestry machines would be designed going forward. The 1270 harvester was widely adopted across Scandinavia, North America, South America, and Russia, making it one of the most globally successful forestry machines ever produced. When John Deere transitioned the Timberjack line to its own branding, the 1270 platform continued under the John Deere name, which is a testament to the fundamental soundness of its design. Number 1. The Plusjack Walking Machine. And now we arrive at the number 1 spot, and this one is unlike anything else on this list or anything else in the history of forestry equipment. The Plusjack Walking Machine is not here because it was the most commercially successful Timberjack machine. In fact, it never went into production at all. Only 2 prototypes were ever built. But it is here because no other Timberjack machine, and arguably no other forestry machine in history, has captured the imagination of people around the world the way this one has. The Plusjack was developed by Plustek Oy, a research and development subsidiary of Timberjack based in Tampere, Finland. Design work began in 1995, and the finished prototype was unveiled in 1999. Instead of wheels or tracks, this harvester moved through the forest on 6 fully articulated hydraulic legs, making it look like something out of a science fiction movie. Each leg had multiple joints that allowed it to adapt to the terrain in real time, The machine could walk forward, backward, sideways, and diagonally. It could turn in place. It could step over obstacles like rocks, stumps, and fallen logs that would stop a conventional wheeled or tracked machine dead in its tracks. And because the legs could extend and retract independently, the body of the machine remained level regardless of the slope or roughness of the terrain beneath it. But the most revolutionary aspect of the Plusjack was environmental. Conventional forestry machines on wheels or tracks leave deep ruts in the forest floor, which channel rainwater and cause soil erosion. This is one of the most significant environmental impacts of mechanized logging. The Plusjack's 6 feet spread the machine's weight across 6 separate, small contact points, and because it stepped rather than rolled, it left virtually no tracks on the ground. For an industry that was increasingly concerned about its environmental footprint, this was a genuinely game-changing concept. The prototype was equipped with a fully functional harvester head that could fell, delimb, and buck trees just like a conventional wheeled harvester. The operator sat in an enclosed cab with joystick controls for both the harvesting boom and the walking system. Sensors embedded in the legs allowed the machine to react to the texture and slope of the ground, automatically distributing its weight for stability. So why did it never go into production? 2 main reasons. First, the walking system was significantly slower than a wheeled machine, which reduced productivity in commercial operations where speed is money. Second, the complexity and cost of the 6-leg walking system made the machine extremely expensive compared to conventional alternatives. But the legacy of the Plusjack extends far beyond forestry. It became one of the most famous examples of a practical hexapod walking vehicle, inspiring engineers and roboticists around the world. One of the 2 prototypes is now on permanent display at Lusto, the Finnish Forest Museum, where it remains one of the most popular exhibits. The other was shipped to the United States to be displayed at a John Deere facility. The Plusjack was ahead of its time in the 1990s, and with modern advances in electric motors, battery technology, artificial intelligence, and material science, many experts believe that the concept of a walking harvester will eventually become commercially viable. When that day comes, it will owe a debt to the engineers at Plusjack who dared to imagine a forest machine that walked instead of rolled. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content about the greatest machines ever built. Drop a comment below and let me know, which Timberjack machine is your all-time favorite? Were you ever lucky enough to operate one of these legendary machines? I'd love to hear your stories. And if you've got photos or videos of old Timberjack machines still working in the woods, share them in the comments section. This community is all about keeping the history and heritage of these incredible machines alive. I'll see you in the next one.